Hello and welcome back. So let's move on to the rest of the torso. Hopefully we can finish it. So of course this one I'm gonna make it go here and maybe wrap around the breasts here. Now the reason I do that, forget symmetry here though. So go back here. Let me mirror it. Alright, turn on symmetry so we can do it in a symmetrical way. So I want this to wrap around the breasts. So something like this. And here I have a lot of loops, so maybe I can choose to have those loops actually have this middle one to be the one that is going down, maybe connected to here, so that the other ones can be resolved maybe later on in the middle. Here again, you can choose where to have that penta. So if you choose to position it here, it's actually not a good option here. So let's just make it here. Right? If you make it lower, then you'll have a a very disturbing pole there in the middle. So I don't want that. Here you can choose either to have the penta over here or on the top, so over there, here. Okay, the difference is again how many loops are going downwards, how many are going to the back. So if the penta is here, more loop will go down and lesser loop will go to the side. Okay. And then what's happening in the middle will be just simple rounded shapes. Let me fill this loop first, and then what's inside of here I wanted to have a maybe a rounded shape. So just need to. Now there's a little debate here. Do you really want it to be circular on the inside? Because we all know that deformation wise we want it to be able to bend if possible, but this circular shape directs all the loops going inwards like a spider web, and that doesn't really bend well actually. In fact it's actually better for stretching towards the radical direction but not the bending. And by bending I mean is bending this way kind of result. It doesn't really help with that. So some people do it in a different way. So instead of having this circular going in, of course you can do that, right? You can do that by keep going in. I think it's actually easier to do it this way. Just go to the vertices, extrude, going in, do one more time, going in, and one more time, and then merge them together. Okay. So that's some people will do, and that seems reasonable because that's how the structure will be like over there. But again, if you think about deformation, this might not be a good solution, because if you wanted to be able to bend this way, right? It's not easy to bend the weighting. So sometimes instead of ends up with this kind of result, what people will do is instead of circular shape, they just make it go straight up and down like this, so that it doesn't really ends with a let me have one more look over here. It doesn't end with a circular shape, it's just this. Now this can make the bending easier, more or less. Okay, so to me it's not gonna make that much of a difference again because that I'm not gonna bend the breast that much, maybe just dragging it around. I don't really animate it. I know that some some animation do animate this part a little bit. I don't see you really have to do that. Maybe some dynamic, but you know, that's beyond the realm of what I would do, but still, something maybe you wanted to do or not. I don't want it to be there actually, so this one goes down because I want that thing to be happening at the same loop. So this is symmetrical in that case. The penti is here and that is over there, right? So just two different approaches. Okay. So it's your choice. I'm not gonna say which one is better. So I would like to actually go for the circular way because that's really common happening in almost all the topologies we're having. So I'm just gonna do that. So I'm gonna extrude and going in. No. Huh, I did extrude it. Not sure why. Extrude going inwards. Right. Do that again and again. And merge. Okay. And go sculpting. Oh, not sculpting to quad draw to. And then maybe just smooth it out. Okay, so I'm gonna do it this way. I have one more loop going in there, so I'm gonna do it over here. Okay. Alright, I think I have spent a lot of time just explaining how people are thinking when they're doing this kind of topology, and doing different kind of approaches. If you have done rigging, I believe you have little trouble really dealing with those detail things. Like, you will have all sorts of models coming to you, like they all model in different ways. The topology will be different. So you cannot develop the different ways of doing reweighting for that. So you can handle different topology more or less. So I wouldn't really bother too much again on this part, just to make it look comfortable and have enough loops at least to support the deformation, if not all going towards a perfect direction. So here I'm doing the clavicle, right? Scapular, right? It goes in like that. I'm creating a loop for it, and I intend to make it maybe stop just here, and then just need to fill in what's happening in the middle. So I need two more loops here. Okay, so that's the middle part. Keep going down. May choose to have the penta over there. And let's keep going downwards. Now there are actually a very big difference between game model and animation model. The difference is for animation model, because that sometimes you want to press 3 or smooth preview to render it or smooth it basically in the future. It requires all the edges you're creating having a fairly similar distribution or even distribution, because when you smooth preview, the line are being moved a lot. If your line, for example this line, if this line is over there, when you press 3 it changes direction a lot, because this face and that face, they're very uneven. Okay, so that's gonna cause texture stretching when you press the 3 button. In game engine though, you don't have that restriction because you never smooth preview it. You will do that maybe on very high-end ones. You actually smooth preview it using some displacement map, smoothing it. But you know, on low-end games, if you're just using this model, you're modeling and rely on normal map to smooth out some of the hard edges, then you actually will end up with a lot of uneven distributions of those edge loops just to achieve better result with lesser topology or faces. So just I think that's something worth mentioning here. For animation related projects, I would recommend you to make sure that a lot of edge loops you're creating are evenly distributed, so that either you're in smooth preview mode or in the normal mode, it will be close. The UV will be close. Okay, I'll talk about more on that when we're doing texturing of the character, that you will see now why it is important to make them even and why it's never going to be perfect if you're using smooth preview. Anyway, let me hold it down the tab button and drag downwards. I just have a few loops in the middle. Now here in the middle, it's another debate. Do you really create the loop for the belly? Okay, that's another debate people are having. Because that if your loop is simpler like this, just all horizontal or vertical, right? And then it's very easy to do the weighting. But if you have a circular loop in the middle, that's gonna be actually harder. But we can of course do that. It's just it's gonna be harder for the weighting, but it's probably gonna be better for the shape you end up with. So maybe it's a good thing. By the circular in the middle, I mean the belly is a circular shape, so you can do that or not. You can always get similar shapes actually, with or without its circular shape, circular loop. Alright, so if you wanted to do this, of course you can just do that, and then maybe just do the extrusion and extrude it in, and one more time going in, and here you can choose to either keep going in like this, or you can also just stop the circular shape here and then start to make it not circular anymore. By that, what I mean is the loops will go like this. Oh, you need one more. Okay. like this in the middle. Alright, so I'm gonna go for this way because it's harder to do, so that you know how to do this, but you can also just do the other way I did earlier, just simple horizontal and vertical lines. Either way it should work. This way it's harder for doing the skin weighting, but it's supposed to be giving you better shape. For the back though, I'm just gonna extend it to the bottom. In that one, see, just delete that, and fill in the connections. Alright, I think that's the upper torso, and then it's already 16 minutes, so I'm gonna stop here, and in the next one we're gonna keep going on the body, and then maybe we can finish it in the next tutorial. So see you next time.